Hey gang, what's going on? Welcome back here to another edition of The Fishing Teacher, and thanks a lot for checking today's video out. Got a good summer tip for you guys today. We're going to be talking about fishing jerk baits around boat docks, which is one of my favorite summertime techniques. Catch a lot of fish doing it, and I'm going to give you guys some good tips and advice on it. I think it'll help you guys out this summer. And also guys, if you're interested in getting any of the Mega Bass 110s I'm talking about, I'll put the Baitworks link in the description. Use that link. It's a good way to support the channel. So much appreciated. Okay guys, a lot of people, we do a lot of stuff here on Jerkbaits on this channel and on Intuitive Angling, my main channel. And for the most part, jerkbaits are a colder weather lure. I mean, that's just the way it is. They shine anywhere between like November to early April. But you can catch them all year long on at different parts of the lake. Like for example, if you guys fish smallmouth up north, jerkbaits are one of the top summer lures up there for smallmouth. But in the video I want to do today, I want to talk specifically about the more southern, mid part of the country, anywhere where it's not a northern smallmouth, where you have boat docks. Because in the boat docks, in the summertime, guys, boat docks are a prime piece of cover to catch them on a jerkbait with. So sort of go over a little bit about what I'm talking about here. Basically, you're going to have three different type of docks. And most all lakes across the country at least have a few docks like this. Some lakes, if you're here in like Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri where I'm at, you've got thousands and thousands, and some lakes you may just have a few, but almost every single lake has it. You have the private or like the resort type docks that usually have anywhere between 1 to maybe 10 slips in it that are floating. Then you've got the marina docks, which are in just about every lake, and the marina docks are usually floating. And then you've got the pier type docks, the ones that's got actually pilings in the water, like that are on Lake Guntersville and Lake Norman in North Carolina, that type of stuff. Now, all of these areas will work, although the floating docks are going to be a lot better for the jerkbait. So that's specifically what I want to talk about today. Now, first of all, before we get into the floating docks, I'll just say one thing about every single type of dock. The big key to catching fish on jerkbaits on docks is you got to fish edges and you got to fish the shade. The shade will really help out. It's not completely necessary, but it really helps out, especially if you're fishing a piling dock. If you're fishing piling docks, throwing the jerkbait along those pilings that have some shade coming off of it is going to be a really good way to catch them. But specifically what I want to focus in on today is how to fish this thing around floating docks that are in a little bit deeper water. Now, marina docks are ideal for this, guys, because most marina docks, they're fairly large and they have some deep water on the docks themselves, and they're floating. And when you have a combination of deep water and you've got cover on the surface like that, you're going to have some fish suspending around those docks all summer long. Because if you ever notice, if you guys walk out on a floating dock, it doesn't matter how big the dock is, there's a lot of times you'll see bluegills just under the surface in the shade of those docks. And those bluegill are feeding on, just the little minnows and stuff that are attracted like to the algae and plankton that are on the docks. It's just part of the food chain. The plankton, the minnows, bluegill, and then the bass will follow. And the bass like to hang out around these docks, trying to catch perch and bluegill and that type of stuff. So what you want to do with the jerkbait here, this is the Mega Bass Vision 110, just the standard one. Color's not really a big deal. I do prefer, if you're fishing clear water, like water visibility over 4 feet, go with some type of a translucent clear color. If the water visibility you're fishing is like under 3 feet deep or so, go to like a metallic finish or a flat-sided finish. This is probably going to get more bites for you on that. But one of the things that you got to do on this thing, guys, the key to catching them on boat docks with the jerkbait is you've got to get that jerkbait close to the edge of the dock. If you don't cast close to the edge of the dock, a fish is not going to come like that far out very, very often to hit that bait. So you really need to keep that bait just inches away from the dock if you can. Working that bait just underneath the floats in anywhere between, say, 1 to 3 foot of water. I'll throw it out there and I'll just a fairly fast, just a jerk, pause, jerk, pause. I'm not letting it stop very long. And the key is you have to sort of get it down underneath the floats or the styrofoam so those fish can actually see it and come out and get it. But these fish are they're suspended under those docks. Now, sometimes they may be suspended like that far underneath the dock, and sometimes they may be suspended 10 or 20 foot down underneath the dock. And if the water is real clear, you can pull those fish out of those deeper waters. But the thing that I like to do with it is I like to concentrate on the dock ends and the dock corners. So say for example, you know, if this is a dock right here facing out and this is the front of the dock, the fish are going to be in the summertime most of the time along the front of that dock or along just the edges on the front of the dock. You can catch some maybe on the sides occasionally, but most of the time, for whatever reason in the summer, they like to be in the front of those docks. So the technique that I use with it is I fish a jerkbait on a spinning rod, because the spinning rod, I think you can be a lot more accurate with it than you can a bait caster. And I'll position my boat parallel to the outside of the boat dock, make a long cast, maybe 20 foot past the dock. And the jerkbait casts like a potato chip sometimes. So sometimes when you cast it out there, it's going like this through the air. But once it hits the water, if you cast it far enough past the dock on the end, you can sort of move your rod to try to get it closer to the dock and try to come across, you know, as close as you can do it. And most of the time, you do not have to make multiple casts. If there's one there, they usually come out and eat it almost every time. Another good way to catch them on that is a lot of these docks have seawalls on them too. If the marina docks or the docks you're fishing has seawalls, the jerkbait is deadly on a seawall. That's just like, it's almost guaranteed on any lake. If you can put a jerkbait next to a seawall, I mean, not a seawall, guys, I'm talking about a floating, like the floating barrier. If you guys seen, sometimes they got like a tire reef and sometimes they're like a little dock. It's a wave break is what it is. And if you can get them, you know, this jerkbait next to that wave break, it's almost a guaranteed fish. But anyway, guys, this is the deal that depending upon how many docks that you have on your lake, you can keep busy all day long doing this. And I've had days where I've caught 50, 60, 70 fish in a day's time on jerkbaits on docks. Maybe not all of them are keepers, but you still catch a lot of fish. And it's a great way to get bit in the summertime. If you're struggling to catch fish on any lake you're going to, and you have a lake that has docks, get you 110 megabass and fish it around those corners. I think it'll add up to some action for you guys anyway. So anyway, I'll put the link in the description. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys later. See you.